Hey guys, today we're going to talk about refining and adding detail to your op art project. So just to recap where we've been, this was my sketch and my two pieces of inspiration. And this is my project so far, right? So in the last class, we created the kind of underlying structure for our final project. And now we're going to start, zooming in, adding detail, refining, cleaning it up, making sure it's all nice and neat. Just to remind you guys, right, our tips for a successful illusion. We've already picked our two opposite colors. And now we're focusing on the last three. So clean lines, right? So getting rid of any messy, sketchy lines and making solid colored areas. Getting our spaces narrower, so we should be alternating in narrowly with our two opposite colors, and making sure we have no dominant color. So if you have a lot more of one color than the other, then we're adding that other color so that eventually you have approximately the same amount of both colors narrowly alternating. So let's come back here, right? So I still have a lot more green in here. And so I'm going to be adding more pink stripes, and I'm also going to be making the pink stripes I have thicker. All right, so here are the colors I saved. All right, so I'm going to start zooming in. You can also, you can adjust your thickness, whether you're using a marker or the 3D shapes, right? You have this thickness tool that you can adjust how thick that line is. So what I'm going to do is my lines should be thinner here at this center circle, and they should get thicker as they go out towards the edge. Right, so anytime you're fitting more lines into a smaller place, or if you're creating some kind of tunnel effect at all, your lines are going to be getting narrower towards that distant tunnel point and wider as they're coming closer to you. All right, so I'm going to draw a line that gets wider and wider and wider as it gets towards the bottom of the page, and I'm going to use my paint bucket to fill that in. In the narrow places, you might have to do it with the marker instead. Excuse me. So I'm also going to, right, so this is too wide a space here. So I'm going to add another stripe in. When I'm using the fill tool, I need to make sure my lines are going all the way to the other edges so that it fills in properly. And I'm going to kind of even this one out. That's not quite wide enough there. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going around using my line and then my fill bucket to make sure my lines are narrowly alternating and clean, leaving no dominant color. All right, so we're just going to keep going like this. This work should be fairly meticulous, right? It should all be clean and neat. I want you to be zooming in as you work. Again, and let's take a look again at these shapes. So depending on your design, you might be using shapes, you might be drawing, you might be using both. So I would, for my design, I'm going to start by doing all these pink swirly lines. And I'm going to add at least one in between each line that I've already drawn here. And then after that, I'm going to add more 2D shapes, and maybe I'm going to pick an accent color. I haven't decided yet. But just as a reminder of how to use the 2D shapes. All right, so I might... All right, so now that I've set it, I can adjust the color. And I might use a slightly different color. No. Anyways, so again, you are welcome to use an accent color as long as your primary palette, color palette is still those two complementary colors. Right, and whoops, if I need to, I've got this stamp button so I can copy my shape. Don't have to set the thickness and color again. Although now that this one's smaller, right, this is a smaller circle, so I'm going to reduce my thickness a little bit. Stamp it. Adjust it, and again, reduce my thickness. All right, that makes it look more like it's going back into space. All right, so this is the basic idea. I just want you to keep working on this project, making sure you've got clean lines, narrowly alternating colors, and no one dominant color, right? So approximately the same amount of both of your complementary colors. All right, thanks. See you next time.